Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to our virtual open house. Today, we're going to be focusing on business at Wells College. We're really pleased to have you with us. My name is Gerard Turbide. I'm the Vice President for Enrollment here at Wells. And it is an absolutely beautiful day here on our campus. Wells College is set in the peaceful little village of Aurora, right on the shore of Cayuga Lake, the longest of the Finger Lakes. And it is well past the 60-degree mark. The sun is shining and students are out in shorts and t-shirts. We're here today to talk to you about your future. What does a bright future mean to you? Does it mean happiness, professional success, personal accomplishments, financial gains? What about health, your peace of mind, or peace in the world? When you think about a bright future, are you thinking about what that means for you? Are you thinking about what it means for your family, for your community, for the world around you? We have a Q&A and a chat function available today for the session, and our admissions counselors are there to answer your questions as you go, and you'll have the opportunity to pose questions for the panel. But I'm also going to pose right now, if you think about it, what do you think about when you think about a bright future? And if you're so inclined, maybe put that in the chat as well, and we can talk about that. At Wells College, we're all about your bright future. Our mission is to teach you to think critically, to reason wisely, to act humanely as you cultivate your meaningful life. I know an English professor who has said many times, don't get on a bus if you don't know where the bus is going. And before you join a college community, make sure you know what the mission is, because that's where the college will take you. And that mission, thinking critically, reason wisely, act humanely, cultivate a meaningful life. That's what I think about when I ponder the idea of a bright future. At Wells College, you're going to get unmatched personal attention. We have a 9-to-1 student to faculty ratio. Classes are small. You'll have individualized advising to help you plan for your future. You have a diverse range of academic programs, the ability to create your own major. You can join our exploratory program for students who've yet to decide, all on a campus where everybody seems to be on a first name basis. Wells is a small college, and small is powerful. We have fewer than 400 students, so we can do everything one student at a time. We can guarantee you'll have close and meaningful connections with our faculty. We can assure you that you'll have access to our resources and our programs, and we will hear your voice in and out of the classroom. We care about every one of our students, and before you know it, you'll be part of our network of Wells College alumni who span the globe, yet still consider Wells to be their home. Wells College provides everything you'd expect from a top liberal arts college: stellar faculty and academic rigor to develop the life of your mind. And our curriculum goes well beyond the liberal arts, blending real-world experiences. Every student at Wells pursues internships of one type or another. You can even do your first internship at the end of next semester. Our innovative academic programs offer interdisciplinary, career-oriented experiences. And whatever you choose to study, you'll gain the knowledge and the skills that you need to succeed. And we are a close community with over 150 years of history and traditions. Every student signs their name to our honor code, a real living code of conduct for our students. And as students and alumni, we seek to bring the principles of the honor code out into the world. Ask any Wells student or graduate whether they are odd or even, and you'll quickly see how our history and our traditions bind and connect generations of Wellsians. You right now are on an exciting journey, about to make one of the most important decisions you'll probably ever make. Which college will prepare you for your future? Your college education is an investment, and you'd be hard-pressed to find a better value than that of a Wells College education, a nationally recognized private college combining the liberal arts with real-world experience, a breathtaking campus environment, a small, inclusive, and surprisingly diverse community, and Wells College's net cost is among the lowest of institutions like us. And we are open. As we speak, our students are here on our campus, attending classes, eating dining hall food, and engaged in various activities at their home away from home. We are offering in-person campus visit options throughout each week, including our Friday and Saturday Destination Wells programs. Our visit activities are properly social distanced, and we look forward to safely welcoming you to our campus. So let's now have a meaningful conversation about Wells College and your bright future. We've assembled a panel to represent the Wells family and give you deeper insights into how Wells prepares students for future careers in business and other careers. And at this point, I'm going to ask our panelists to introduce themselves.
Hi, everybody. I am Professor Erin Ryan. I also serve as the department chair. And I started working at Wells College as an adjunct professor while completing my PhD in sustainability from RIT. And I taught innovation and creative problem solving. And that's where I actually started meeting some of the alum that are here today on this call. Happy to be here.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mary Weber. I graduated in 2017. I was one of those students in Professor Aaron's classes. I graduated with a major in business and international studies, and I'm currently working in the Wells College Advancement Department as the Assistant Director of Annual Giving.
Hi, I'm Justin Dude. I am a third-year senior this year at Wells, finishing up my final semester. I am on the men's lacrosse team. I was an intern at The Grind, which is a great opportunity for one of the internships on campus. And I am also a business major that loves the small community here.
Hi there, my name is Brittany. I am also a third-year senior. Business is not my only major. I'm also a sustainability major. I am an admissions tour guide. I'm also a co-campus correspondent for the Her Campus chapter here at Wells, and I play on the softball team.
Hi, I'm Haley Martin. I'm a part of the class of 2023, and I'm a business major. I am currently the marketing manager at The Grind, and that's one of my internships. I'm also a part of the women's soccer team here on campus, and I've been on Dean's List each semester that I've been here.
Hi, everyone. I'm Keegan Evans. I graduated in 2015. I was a computer science major, but while at Wells, I was really involved in the business competition and really the business department in general. And while on campus, I actually started my own photography business, and that's currently what I'm doing today. So super happy to be here to chat with you all.
Kevin, you're muted. There we go.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Kevin Miles. I'm director of the Sullivan Center for Business and Entrepreneurship. And I came to Wells in 2013. And for the same reason that many students have told me that they come here, that's that small community, that ability to interact closely with students is really good for both the faculty and from the student perspective. And imagine coming from a campus where your classes were more than 200 students and instead being able to interact with a class of perhaps 20 students, maybe slightly smaller for some classes. So I welcome you. So I'd like to start and just tell you a little bit about the Sullivan Center for Business and Entrepreneurship. And you can almost think of this, if you will, as perhaps an umbrella with the programs and events that come within the Sullivan Center. First is the business program and our business major, which is a general major, which we'll talk about a little bit more today. And then some of the minors, including the business minor, our sustainable business minor, our marketing minor. And then also there's a sports management minor, which is part of the athletics department, but there's a lot of interaction between our department and that department. There's also our personal financial management program, which we're very proud of, and it's now a required course for all Wells students. We have feedback from students several years or 5 years after having taken the course and having graduated, and they've told us that it makes a real significant difference in their lives with the skills that they build in that program. We have an innovation lab as part of the business program. And that innovation course, there's a lot of hands-on interaction with area businesses where we do projects with them. The Grind is our student-run business, and we're really proud of that. The business is run by a management team of generally of 4 students. We have a couple, their founding member here and another current member of the management team. And the management team hires about 10 or 12 students per semester to work there. There's a lot of hands-on experience because they're actually responsible for all aspects of running a business, from planning to hiring people to making decisions on the products, pricing, et cetera. We also have a business idea competition called the Be Your Own Boss competition. And this is open to all students on campus. We generally have as many as 70 students per year competing in this, assembling teams and pitching their ideas that they have. The competition, then some of the participants then choose to go on to the New York regional competitions and to the state competitions. And our students have had success at all levels in those competitions. We have a number of speaker series, including the Sustainable Business Speaker Series. As a matter of fact, just this evening, we have a vice president of sustainability for 7th generation is going to be joining us. We also have speaker series for entrepreneurship and a family business speaker series. And that's exciting because 75 to 90% of businesses globally are said to be family-owned businesses. And we have an entrepreneurship mentoring program, which is great because we not only have faculty members such as myself and Aaron who work with students, but we also have a whole list of alumni who provide mentoring to students. So we look forward to you learning more about our program today.
Thank you, Kevin. So at this point, we'll get into an informal conversation and talk about various things related to Wells and the study of business at Wells, the Sullivan Center. Just a word about how this works. We have a number of our admissions team who are active in the chat. They've already said hello to you. If you have questions, you can post them in the chat. When you do that, please send your questions to all panelists and attendees. That way everybody can see your question. And as those come forward, I will submit those to the group. So I think perhaps we'll start with our 2 alumni who are here with us today. And Keegan, maybe we'll start with you. If you can talk a bit about what you're doing currently and how you prepared for that at Wells and how your Wells experience equipped you for those challenges. And then Mary, same question to you after. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to answer. So I have Wells to thank really for what I'm currently doing. I'm a food photographer. And so companies send me their products and I shoot them for their social media, their websites, their Amazon pages, a whole range of things. This past year, I got to have my work be on a billboard in Times Square, which was pretty phenomenal. And while at Wells, even though I was a computer science major, the flexibility of the Wells schedule allowed me to get involved with the business competitions, with the business department. And I was able to take business courses as well as internships that let me hone in on my interests in photography. So I was actually able to, right after my first year, start an internship where I mixed my computer science degree essentially with my interest of photography. And so that's kind of where it started in terms of me mixing my interest with something that I found a little bit more stable in like the world of computer science. And while at Wells, I started the film production club, which really just enhanced how much I was getting into photography and video work. And, while doing this, still taking these business courses that allowed me to start my photography business while in school. And that's where I learned the ins and outs of running the business and growing it. And even after Wells, I ended up starting a number of other businesses, including a high protein waffle business that was very successful for a couple of years, essentially until we were super burned out and just kind of had to close it for our mental health. But the skills that like Wells gave me in terms of being able to tackle that, I never would have imagined starting a waffle company or starting a photography business or shooting for these brands. So just so thankful for like the flexibility that Wells gave me while I was there. I hope that answers the question.
It does. And I'd love to hear more either now or at some point, but so the focus on your, the subject matter that you photograph, was that always a passion for you, or did you arrive at that some way? And is there a story behind that or a connection to Wells that provides background there?
There's definitely a story behind that. So the first time I ever photographed food was for another Wells alum. It was a woman that started a company named Sunday's Best, and I was shooting hot fudge. Her name's Katie Camaro, and she found me through the Wells network. And at the time, I didn't know what I wanted to shoot for photography. I was shooting weddings and portraits and cars, and really just trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my business. And that was the first time that it really clicked that, I was interested in food. And that moving forward with the waffle business, that's when things really started to kick off. And my experience with Sunday's Best transferred with the waffle business and taking photos for that. And all of a sudden, because of collaborations with other brands on social media, I had brands asking me if I could shoot for them. And that's when it clicked, like, wow, I could really make this a thing, and this could be my focus. And so now every company that I shoot for, except for one candle company, everything else is food focused.
Thank you. I got about 10 bad jokes in my head, but I'm not going to go there. Mary, how about for you?
I can also talk a little bit about the Wells Network and how my business degree has gotten me where I am. I am currently working in the advancement department, mainly in fundraising. So I get to work with the Wells Network every single day and the alumni, working with them to bring back philanthropy into our Wells community right here. And my business degree has really helped me with that from the marketing standpoint, as well as just the connections that I made through different internships. And then ultimately I got my first job at Wells, which was in the admissions department. And then I worked my way to advancement.
Thank you, Mary. And I'm wondering for our students right now on the panel, as you listen to Mary's story and Keegan's story, are there things that sound familiar to you in terms of the experiences that you're having now that you can kind of project forward and think about what your future will look like?
Yeah, I feel like right now I'm really building my network here with professors, and then I met some alumni through some of my classes for guest speakers, so it's very beneficial.
I agree with Haley. As a senior, though, I feel like I already have kind of a network. All of my internships have been due to Wells people, Wells alum, Wells professors, both current and past professors. And all my professors also now are helping me find that next step after Wells, as well as alums in that step as well.
Yeah, just like Brittany said, as a senior, like you definitely put yourself in a position the first few years and you get really close, with it being a small campus, you get so close with some of your professors, having them for multiple classes, that you feel you can go right to them. I actually was in a position a few weeks ago, setting up a LinkedIn profile, going through some stuff to build my network on my own. And the first 4 people I followed were the 4 business professors at Wells, the first 4. So you definitely get such a great relationship with your professors that they're the first people you go to for networking. And I know Haley can touch on this as well, like Professor Kevin Miles that's on the panel, you know, the opportunity that he gives just being kind of the overseer of the Grind Cafe and having an internship with the Grind. That's such an advantage. That's such a great opportunity to have as well.
Justin, thank you. And you took things right where I was thinking about. And Professor Ryan, I'm going to turn to you on this. But you know, Wells, we talk about Wells being small and how that's powerful. And one of the realities is you will have the same faculty member, likely for at least a couple, if not several, courses that you take over the course of your time at Wells. And there are some distinct advantages to that. I'm wondering if, from the faculty standpoint, if you could talk about that a bit.
Yeah, I love watching the students grow over time, you know, from the introductory courses or when we teach personal finance, and I get to see a broad range of students from all over Wells. So I just love watching the growth every year. And, you know, just because I have students multiple times, same with Kevin, we don't just assume or we don't have like an assumption about a student and just stick with that assumption throughout our time. We try to get to know them and understand them and look to help them succeed in their classes.
So here's a poll for our students and alumni. How many of you worked at the Grind? Or do work at the Grind? Oh, very good. So it's more than just working at a coffee shop, right? There are extraordinary lessons that come from the type of experience. And I wonder if we could talk a little bit about that. For me, it's a great place to go and chat with students and get my morning coffee, of course, but I know it's much deeper.
Yeah, I can start. Like Professor Kevin Miles said, there's 4 different types of managers. You have your inventory manager, your marketing manager, your human resource manager, and your financial manager. And then when you all come together once a week for a management meeting, you all just kind of collaborate and go over everything. And yeah, there's very key details. Like I can talk a little bit about marketing. Like I'm in charge of all the social media pages for the Grind. I run the Instagram. I post stuff on the Wells College Students Group. I send out announcements to student and faculty every day or every other day. It's a lot of fine details that goes into running a business.
Yeah, if I can jump in too, I was actually on the founding team for the Grind, and at the time we were, you know, trying to set an example for the future, and so it was so cool to be a part of an experience where you really learn the ins and outs of a business. It's one thing to learn about it in class, but it's another to really take that into a true experience and an actual business where like money is involved and there are some risks involved. And so being a part of that is a totally different experience. And really just such a learning opportunity.
The one thing I'll add, because Haley kind of commented on a few of the things I was going to mention, the one really cool opportunity for me, and I've talked to Haley about this as well, is, you know, going into college or your first few years of college, you have a lot of summer jobs because you're in those positions where you're in schooling. You don't have those long-term jobs where it's 9 to 5, you know, of course, because you're at school. The one really cool thing is instead of being used to being told what to do for the most part and not having a lot of leeway, you go from having a supervisor to being the supervisor. So although Kevin is there, Professor Miles is there, he's very in the shadows. He's there if you need him to go over some things. He's there to kind of point you in the right direction. But those supervisor roles are divided into those 4 management team members. And when you're one of those, you have a huge responsibility on your plate that you don't get by somebody just telling you, how to make a sandwich if you're working at a substation or something. It's a really cool opportunity to show you a completely different side of business before you even leave college.
And Justin, just jumping in real quick, even if you're not going into business, it's such a cool opportunity because you then have this different appreciation for the businesses that you're shopping at later in life. You have that new perspective.
Sorry, I was conscious that I had not unmuted myself, and there we are. I want to take a question from the Q&A, and that is, can we talk about what opportunities there are within or near Aurora to build networking and experiences with businesses and professionals?
I can talk a little bit about my internship. It was technically on campus at the boathouse, but it was with the Aurora Farmers Market, which is separate from the college. And so even with my Wells connection, got that internship, but that is technically like my off-campus internship. So I was the market manager, one of two of us. So I did a lot of what kind of Haley said for the grind: social media, talking with vendors, scheduling vendors, and then on the day of the market on Saturdays, the setup, takedown, organization of all of that as well. And so that's one of the opportunities that I had off campus. I don't know if anybody else has anything.
I would say that because Ithaca is so close, there are so many opportunities there as well. I was able to just jump on that market in terms of my photography business because there are so many restaurants and things in that area, and because there are so many Wells alum that live in that area. So there are a lot of connections to take advantage of there as well. And then, we have the Aurora Inn right in town. And I was lucky enough to be able to work with them on a number of events and feel like a part of that community there too.
And I can add to that because there are the inns, but there's also several local wineries and breweries in the area that actually have students that are interns or that will work at them and help on the business side of it. So there are internships that are just super close to campus as well.
And to the north of us is Auburn and Syracuse, and also Rochester as well. Kevin, I know that we have a lot of interactions with students from other campuses as well in some of our business competition activity, and we do quite well in those things. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and highlight some of those connections?
Sure. Well, first of all, we have there's a entrepreneurship network among the colleges and universities in the upstate, and so our students attend and participate in programs at a number of universities mostly within an hour radius, but also farther away. For example, a team of 4 students went last year with what be pre-pandemic to 4 universities in Philadelphia where we interacted with them. The one is the 3rd largest entrepreneurship program in the country. And they were actually asking one of our student teams for some advice because they thought that our students had an idea they hadn't considered for their project, for their business. Also, we participate in business competitions at some of these universities. I was just invited today to take student teams to 2 universities, one in Rochester and one in Syracuse. And our students do very well at that. As a matter of fact, the one event in Syracuse, which usually attracts 12 to 16 universities with anywhere from 1 to 10 teams from each of those universities, 2 consecutive years, Wells was the only school besides the host school to have first place finishers in the 5 categories. And we also had tied for the most first and second place finishers in that category. In Rochester, then also the year between those 2 years, our students competed, and I think it was about the same number of universities invited to that, and our students there again did well. And we, as far as the number of teams, we had 12 teams in the finals, and we tied the largest university there for the most teams. We tied the second largest university there for the most place winners. And our students do very well. We find, or they find, that they have these skills that they develop at Wells where they can articulate their ideas. First of all, that their creative, their thinking and analytical skills are so good that they come up with ideas, they refine the ideas, and then they present the ideas very well. And that's why, you know, one of the student, well, it's the first student team, but to do this, which was about 4 years ago, but we have students each year that qualify for the finals of the state competition. The one year having 5 teams qualify for the state finals. Now that year started off with about 1,270 teams, university and college teams from New York State only, as they whittled their way down through the competitions at, I think it's 10, either 9 or 10 regional competitions to then qualify for the states. And here Wells had 5 of the teams there out of approximately, it varies per year, but out of approximately 40 teams. So Wells students represent themselves extremely well. They interact very well with these. They partner with the teams. We've had students go to incubators, which is let's say a summer planning project to plan your business, where they were asked by students from another university. And so 2 of our teams teamed up with them. But it wasn't us teaming up with them. They teamed up with us for that event. So there's all kinds of stories and examples that we can give you. It's really exciting to work with the students year in and year out. As a matter of fact, Haley right now is working with another current student, I think possibly 2 students. There might be another one joining her team, but she's working with an alum who was twice in the state finals when he was here. And he just graduated about a year ago. So I'm sure she's looking forward to that experience.
Haley, do you want to talk a little bit about what that entails?
Well, one of the alums, he had this idea that he presented to the business competition, and it's a little bit confidential on the details right now, but we plan to bring it back to the business competition this year and represent it and just keep it rolling.
All right, top secret. We'll learn more later. Carrying this conversation about experiences beyond Wells and beyond Aurora and tying it to another question in the Q&A, what about international experience?
I can actually take this one. So one of my internships at Wells was actually in Costa Rica. I had a great interest in both business and international studies, and so I took the opportunity to do a business internship in San Jose, Costa Rica for a full semester. And in Costa Rica, I actually worked with a company that markets for internships, which was a little ironic, but it was a lot of fun. I helped create their social media platforms, and I also got to experience how life and work-life balance is in Costa Rica. In a completely another country, your experiences are so different. I was working at a different pace where I'm used to working from like 9 to 5, going quick. And in Costa Rica, you take longer breaks and then work a little bit longer days. So there's a lot of differences, but it was a great opportunity that Wells gave me to be able to go abroad, to have that internship and to gain those experiences.
If I can just add to that question, the one photo, the one group photo that flashed earlier as a student who I haven't seen since before the pandemic, but she graduated about 4 years ago. And she did internships in Costa Rica, also different location in Mary in a different company. It's a real interesting story because it's a large beverage company that's very sustainably focused. And that company is advising the largest beverage companies in the United States how to be more sustainable. Pretty cool. And she was involved in that project. She also did an internship in Germany, and she did one in a third country. And I'm guessing, but I think I seem to recall that it was Switzerland. And so there are opportunities. Some students come up and develop their own opportunities, and at other times, the faculty work with the students if they're focusing on a certain topic, a certain industry, or a certain location. And we dig into our networks and into the Wells network and see what we can help them develop. We do have some others developed, for example, through our business semester abroad program in Costa Rica. There are all kinds of internships there. As a matter of fact, our students are asked before they go, do you want to work for a Costa Rican company, a Central American, South American, North American company, or a European company? There are that many companies there, and they have choices, and they also have their choices as far as the industries when they're there. We're also working with or looking at a business semester abroad program similar to Costa Rica that's in Germany, and that will have the similar opportunities as what Costa Rica does, as well as all of the other semester abroad opportunities at Wells.
Thank you, Kevin. Mary, you made mention of work-life balance, and I know we have some aspiring student athletes out there as well who are wondering about the balance between life as a student athlete and in the classroom. And I'm wondering if anybody would like to speak to that a little bit. And are there study groups, and how do we work with student athletes?
Yeah, well, I can start, but all three of us current students are student athletes. So as far as student athlete and school balance, the professors and the coaches work with you very well. Your professors know that you might have games that you'll have to miss classes for, and vice versa. Your coaches know that you have classes that you have to go to. Right now, currently, actually with Aaron, I have a night class. I've had a night class with Kevin as well. And so that is one of many examples. You'll have to miss practices for night classes, but I've also missed some classes for games. But as far as missing classes, the professors are very flexible in allowing you to have enough time for an assignment, or if anything's due during that time. I don't know if Haley and Justin want to go from there, but
Yeah, I can add on. Brittany's absolutely right. I love being a student athlete on campus. And so in regards to a study group, it's actually really nice because since the campus is so small, you know everyone, and also you know everyone in your class, and everyone in the class is basically student athletes. So it's very easy to get in touch with them and study with them and like review course materials and all of that. It's really easy since the campus is so small and so like such a community.
Yeah, I'll add on to that as well. One of the nice things for me, and I'm sure Haley and Brittany both had this as well, just hitting on again how small the campus is, you as a freshman get really close with some of the upperclassmen, and a lot of the times they are in the same department that you're in, the same department that they were in. So my freshman year, I struggled a little bit adjusting to, doing both at the same time. And I had some of the upperclassmen, the juniors and seniors, that had already had Professor Ryans and Professor Miles and had taken those same classes where after practice, we're going to the dining hall together and we're going to eat dinner together. Well, instead of talking about something else, we're talking about, they're giving me recommendations on how to manage my schedule. They're giving me recommendations on what I need to do to be successful both on the field and in the classroom, because they've been in those classes. They know the workload that it takes. They've been on those same teams. The other thing is, and I'm not sure if every team does this, I know we did this, there's a big focus on making sure that freshmen adapt to being able to manage both of them. One of the things that our team had to do, at least my freshman year, was we had weekly meetings with our coach. I think they were only about 15 to 20 minutes, but they were just concerns we had about doing them both at once, or just being able to go in and talk about how we're doing in our classes, what we should be doing differently if we need to, and having some of those conversations to make sure the freshmen are really highlighted on making sure that they adapt properly and they adjust to doing that when they get to college.
And one thing I forgot to mention earlier, and Justin kind of talked about schedules. One piece of advice I give all of the students, prospective students that I talk to, is to take a lighter course load during the semester that you're not playing your sport. So like I play softball, we're in season during the spring. So in the fall, I always load up. And then in the spring, I take a little easier course load. So that's my one piece of advice if you're interested in being a student athlete.
I just would like to add one thing. I've noticed like with some freshmen or first years, if they're not on a team already, but they're interested, there are opportunities to try out and join a team, which I think is really unique. But it's not just about sports at Wells. There's tons of clubs and activities, and I think everyone finds their place that way. And I think it's really good for time management and learning how to take initiative in balancing your work life.
Absolutely. I was not a student athlete, but can definitely attest to this as having many student athlete friends. They always found a balance on campus because the professors are so awesome to work with and like the community is so rich.
A question in the chat about the MBA, the Masters of Business Administration. Does everybody who wants to work in business need an MBA? Do our students pursue MBAs? Any comments on that?
I would say you definitely don't need an MBA to be in business. I've started 4 businesses without an MBA. So it is absolutely possible. You just, you need the right foundation, and that's absolutely available at Wells.
Just to add on to that, what Keegan said, I think that you, especially as you approach your junior and senior year, you realize how much you truly learn with some of your business class at Wells. For me personally, I'm looking at jobs now because I'm in my last semester, yet at the same time, I'm filling out grad school applications for an MBA. But the plan, as of now at least, is that if I find a job I truly feel I could do for a significant amount of time, that I actually won't be going for my MBA. However, because I feel that I have the tools that I need to be successful from the classes, yet obviously if that job doesn't pan out and I don't find one that I feel I can really do for a few years, the MBA is that other option. So that's just for me personally. I thought I'd add that in.
I kind of think around the same lines. You don't definitely need an MBA. You can go into many different fields with our business degree. A lot of my friends that I graduated with in my business program have done so many different things. I'm currently in fundraising. I have a friend in accounting. I have another friend that works in HR. You have Keegan doing his own businesses out here. So our business program really offers the opportunity to do an MBA or many different majors or grad school programs or paths of life. So it's really open for you to decide.
I can just add, after the students' perspectives, which was accurate, by the way, that's exactly correct. An MBA is not necessary. We do have some students who choose to go on. Other students wait and may be employed by a firm that after a couple of years, 2 or 3 years, will pay for their graduate school. So there are different opportunities, but you don't need you don't need a graduate degree to get a job, that's for sure. I started all of my businesses that I had over a 20-year period with just an undergraduate degree. And I actually got my graduate degrees later in life when I was teaching at a university, and the dean had recommended that because of the types of courses that I was teaching, even though the experience was important. So The other thing is we do, for a student who may decide to go that direction, which is fine, some do, we have agreements with quite a few different universities where students can, as long as they have a certain GPA level, it might be like a 3.0, they can transition right upon graduation. Right, they have to go through the process, but they can transition right into that university's program, and they would have a choice of different schools that we currently have agreements with. In most of those cases, there's a significant discount to the tuition for the Wells student who then continues in that program. And we're actually working on an additional program with another college right now. We can't get into any specifics because it's still in the planning process. But one of the things that's going a slightly different direction, and that's going with a Master of Science in business. And that's one thing that I also recommend students to consider, because even though the term MBA is very popular, what's happened over the past 5 years or longer, it was actually the recession that we were in around 2007 to 2009. It began about that time, where business executives started looking at this, and they started saying the MBA is too general. People are coming in as generalists, and the desire that these companies have is more training in certain categories. So right now, a lot of companies are looking for Master of Science degrees in business or various business topics. And so that's another thing that we advise our students to, and a lot of the bigger universities are putting all their efforts, whether it be marketing or course development, into MS programs, graduate programs, rather than MBA programs. And so one of the things that could be advantageous for the student is graduate and see where you're working, and then see what that company would prefer. They may say we'll pay for it either way, but you may find that career path wise, you might be able to accelerate your career path perhaps with an MS. We recently had 3 students graduate from the same university with Master of Science degrees. And they all had jobs when they were halfway through their first year, corporate job offers when they were halfway through their first year. But they focused on Master of Science degrees because that's what they were advised, not by us, but by companies that they were interviewing with. So just a little consideration. So Aaron and I and the other professors in the department, when in our advising meetings, tell students that when they're thinking about it, well, what are your career goals? How are you going to use this? And you might be better off being more specialized in your business master's degree.
This is all really interesting to me, and Mary and Kevin and a number of you have already kind of answered in different ways the question of where do our graduates go? What do they do after they leave Wells College? What kind of jobs do they get? And I think part of the magic here, though, is exactly that. Even without the moving on to an MS degree, the combination of a business focus at Wells, but also a liberal arts college, and the mission that we have, I think that ability for students to really figure out who they are, what's important to them, and how they want to impact the world, is a true advantage for a business degree at Wells. And Keegan is nodding. So as someone who discovered he wanted to take pictures of food, where else are you going to figure that out? So I think that's extraordinary. That's not a question, it's a comment, but hopefully it resonates, and maybe others have something they want to add about that.
I can add something. I would go as far to say that business is the major that best pairs with anything else, minors or other majors. I came in as a business major and took a whole bunch of sustainability classes just because I was interested. And because they pair so well together, I was able to declare that second major. That's not saying you have to declare a second major, you can declare minors. I was interested possibly in a sports management minor, didn't go that way, but it pairs best with anything. And one thing that Kevin says in all of his classes is that as a business major, you should take as many psychology classes as you can. So that's another pair well with business. I don't know if Haley and Justin have minors, or Keegan or Mary, but I would say business pairs very well with everything else.
Yeah, I was put in a position similar to you, Brittany. And I think we might be doing this next year too, and graduating a year early. But at one point, and Professor Ryan knows this, thinking that I was going to be here for 4 years at one point and taking some of the required classes in all different subjects with business major. I was taking an accounting class, I took the financial management class, took sports marketing classes. At one point, I think I walked into Professor Ryan's advisement meeting and said, well, because I'm here for 4 years, I'm going to have 4 different minors. And that didn't end up happening. I'm actually not going to graduate with one, just to graduate a year early. But that's one of the things, just like Brittany mentioned, you get put in a situation trying out a bunch of different classes that obviously still connect to business, but you really truly find what you like and some of the paths that you might want to go on. To be honest, the word I would use to answer this question is anywhere. It just depends on what you want to do, and you really do find that here.
Yeah, adding on to Justin, I feel like the business major is so broad. And I came in, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do with business, but the amount of different classes that we have, from like entrepreneurship to marketing to principles of management and then principles of project management, it really narrows down to what you want to do in the future. Because I had no idea what I wanted to do with a business major, but I knew I wanted to do it. So from taking all these classes, I'm really narrowing down to what I really want to do in the future.
I can second that. Some of the classes have really helped me in my future. One of the major ones was actually a class with Professor Ryan. It was innovation, and I actually took it with Keegan. And we had an innovation project that we worked with our advancement department to try to help engage alums. And it was my first time working in the office, making connections. And we actually had a project that developed an app that we called the Wells Bubble. But it kind of mixed both my worlds of like business and advancement. And so the class really just opened my eyes to a whole new world, and kind of built off of that, of just trying to get as many Wells connections as I possibly could. And we had the best project.
That class was amazing. Let me just throw that out there. And that project itself like sparked ideas with me and the clothing line that I was a part of, another business that I had started, just because of everything we were diving into with social media. So it's crazy how much things at Wells connect to your life.
I don't want to miss this. We had a follow-up question in the chat about, is it difficult to balance if you have a double major or a major in combination with minors? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I can talk about it. As a double major, especially at a liberal arts school, a lot of your gen ed courses, like you take them for any major. So that was not different between business and sustainability. The only thing that was different was the specific classes. And it's kind of weird how it works out, but I always felt like I was more focused on business in the fall classes and then more sustainability in the spring. And I think that's just how my schedule worked out, but that was kind of helpful to have more of a business mindset one semester and then a sustainability the other. And then combining them kind of through the business pitch competition, through my project and innovation, and any project I do, honestly, is sustainable business, has something to do with it. But it's definitely because you are so passionate about both of them, it's not hard to combine them at all.
Point to two things that I've noticed about Wells that relate to that too. And one is, lots of our students come in with fairly significant credits already through AP courses or college courses. If you have AP credits, if you've taken college courses, Wells has, I think, a very generous transfer policy in terms of those credits. So lots of those credits, maybe all of those credits, are going to translate for you and provide you with some flexibility here. But the other thing that's really special about Wells is the ability for any student to sit down with faculty, to sit down with their advisor and say, hey, this is something I want to do. Help me figure out how to make that work. and we're going to work with you to make that happen.
Yeah, I can definitely, that's one of the reasons I came to Wells. I came in with credits enough to graduate early, which is huge for my pocketbook. But as far as transferring in credits, it's very easy to do. You just request a transcript from whatever college or program you took them from in high school. And Wells was one of the only schools that I was looking at that would take all of the credits that I transferred in. So whether or not they count for a class, that's kind of up to professor and registrar approval. So definitely take as many college classes as you feel comfortable in high school, because they might count for classes and they might just be free elective courses, but you need those anyway to graduate. So that's also a bonus as well. Yeah.
To go off what Brittany said, I took a lot of college credits in high school and they all transferred over. And I'm actually considered a second semester junior right now, but it's so helpful and it's so easy to get a transcript and get all the credits transferred here. And then to go off with what you were mentioning about faculty being very easy to talk to, like Erin Ryan is my advisor and she's so easy to reach out to and just have a nice conversation and like give me reassurance as to like if I'm on the right path. And then Kevin Miles is very easy to talk to as well about different courses, and of course talking to him about the grind and then other classes as well. It's very helpful.
Yeah, jumping in there quick, what's amazing is even when a professor is not your advisor, like Kevin and Aaron were not my advisors, and yet they were still so accommodating and so easy to talk to. And that's just what's incredible about Wells, is that small community that makes it possible so that professors that aren't even your advisors can be advising you. Because I was involved in the business world as well as the computer science world, I was able to be flexible and chat with my professors and really discuss kind of like what I wanted for my future. And that was so nice to not just be pushed into one direction of, this is the computer science world, you have to stay here. It was so flexible, and that's the beauty of liberal arts.
If I could just add real quick, if you want to do a double major, it does take a little planning. So I try to talk to my advisees early on about like, what are you interested in? Do you want to consider a minor? And, help them with, particularly with the double major, to figure out so we don't have the overlap. And I just had another advisee who's going to double major in economics and business, because of the credits he came in with, which is really great. And we've had a double major, I think, with computer science, right? Computer science, Kevin, and business. Like, we get all sorts of double majors. So we really try to encourage students to explore different majors and minors.
I want to express my deep appreciation to our panelists and to our attendees for this great conversation. I'm hopeful that these insights have given you perhaps a glimpse into what your future could look like here at Wells. At Wells, I'm gonna close this by giving each panelist the opportunity to say a few words, and I'm going to give a choice. You can either, at Wells we have lots of traditions, which we've mentioned previously, and everybody at Wells seems to have their favorite. So I'm going to offer you the opportunity to either talk about your favorite tradition and why, or if you'd rather, a last bit of advice or counsel to folks who are watching the program. And I don't know, Kevin, let's start with you.
Well, the advice that I'll give all of our listeners is the same that I've given to my children. When you're visiting schools, take the opportunity to talk to some professors, talk to some students, and get a feel for it. You'll know when you're at the right place. You'll know when it feels like the place that you want to be for the next 4 years and get your education. The thing that shocked me the most is when I came to Wells originally just to meet with someone, I was surprised at the feel. I didn't know that that was something that I was looking for. But when I realized that I could interact with students and really help them personally, as opposed to being in these huge classes where I didn't even get to know any of my students, and it was just lecture, there was no interaction. You can't interact in a class with 200 or even 100 students. And so you'll have that same feeling. And so come to Wells, check us out. And if it feels like that place, that special place, believe me, it will be. You will know.
Thank you, Kevin. Haley.
Well, I can talk about one of my favorite traditions. I bet this is Mary's too. I love Odd Even. It's so much fun. The energy is so great here on campus, and it's just nice to get everyone together. It's definitely a community, and it's a very nice feel. I've never experienced a men's Odd Even before in the spring because of the pandemic that hit, but the women's Odd Even is so much fun to attend. I love it.
All right, let's see if you guessed right. Mary, is she going to pick odd even? We'll find
Yeah.
out.
I absolutely do love Odd Even because I was an odd line coach and it is like very close to my heart. But my actual favorite tradition is our Wells class rings. I love the whole networking. I love our alumni and I love Odd Even, but these rings are just so beautiful, and it's this token that reminds me every day that I'm a part of a community that is built and it's connected and has given me so much. And I just love that reminder right there in my hand. And I'll tell you, other alums can see a ring from like a mile away and be like, oh my gosh, are you a Wells graduate? And it's crazy how small the world really is. And I also, for the bit of advice, I do want to echo Kevin and being like, look for your best fit. You'll know it when it's right. I knew it when I stepped foot on Wells campus the first time. I was like, this is the school I'm going to. I felt it in my stomach. I knew that fit, and you'll know it too.
Thank you, Mary. Professor Ryan.
Actually, a tradition I'm looking forward to seeing again, because hopefully we'll have more easement on the restrictions, is the seniors frolicking on the lawn the last day of classes in their robes and just having fun. And I love seeing that, and playing games, socially distant, I assume this year. Advice that I give to all my advisees is like, don't be afraid to reach out if you need help. That's the beauty of Wells College. There are so many resources. Everyone wants to help you. We're very empathetic and flexible. And I think in the pandemic, we've shown that. And I also want to reiterate, it does take time to adjust. And I think my advisees know that. I've shared that with them. And usually by the end of the first year, it takes time. And you're so used to a really instantaneous world. And don't worry if you're having a hard time. And we're here to help you through that.
Thank you. Justin.
I gotta go with Haley as somebody that did odd even, and I know I last semester was a coach, so I got to help the women a little bit. I believe I'm coaching odd even again this semester. Definitely got to go with odd even. It's a really good opportunity for people of different programs and different teams to all come together as like one team. It's a really cool atmosphere. You get to meet some alumni in some other years when they got to come. I don't know about this year if they can or not, probably not, but it's a really cool opportunity. The one thing of advice that I would say, we talked a lot about networking in the beginning. We think so much about networking being with other businesses, especially as a business major, or with some of the professors. But as soon as you get to Wells, it's a very small school. You're going to learn that quick, and it's great for a lot of reasons, that being one of them, one of the reasons I came here. But you're going to get forced to meet people very quickly with how small it is. So you want to build your network not only with the professors, but you want to build your network with other students, so you have people to rely on when you're struggling, and you have people to ask questions to. And whether you play a sport or not, You want to build that network with the students so you really get to enjoy your college experience and you get to go to people if you have questions about things.
Thank you, Justin. Brittany.
Mary actually took my favorite tradition. I love the rings. I just got mine. But my other one is that we print our own diplomas here at Wells in the Book Arts Center. So you truly get a Wells diploma when you graduate. And my piece of advice is maybe a little selfish, but giving tours is my favorite thing that I do here at Wells. So if you haven't done so already, schedule a tour, virtual or in person, so I can give some more tours.
Keegan.
All right, I've got a couple favorite traditions. One of them is just anytime everyone gathers around the sycamore. That happens a number of times through the traditions. I believe on the first day of classes, right, everyone? Yeah, okay, I'm remembering that. I'm remembering that right. And then the other, I don't know if it's still going on, would be the haunted hayride as part of the October family weekend. When I was a first year, the first years are in charge of organizing that, and you lead families around campus and tell them ghost stories from Wells. Fun fact, was haunted at Wells, this guy. And so that was just a really cool weekend to be able to like show off the campus to family and run that hayride. And then my bit of advice would be to maybe take a class that makes you a bit uncomfortable and get out of your comfort zone. What's great about Wells is it can really push you, but there's so much support there that you can really feel comfortable being pushed out of your comfort zone.
Thank you, Keegan. Thank you, everyone. Very much appreciate your insights. And as we bring this to a close, I think we'll pull up a slide that has contact information for our panelists. So you are welcome to continue the discussion with us, and we're happy to take your emails, take your calls, etc. The other thing I want to remind everybody is indeed do plan to visit campus. We have some virtual open houses that are scheduled in April, other academic panels around different topics. But as several have said right now, and Kevin said it beautifully at the beginning, you need to step foot on the campus and get a feel. And we are open and here and ready and excited to show you around campus. So please take that step. And with that, here is our contact information if you'd like to reach out to any of us. And once again, thank you all. Have a great night, and we'll see you soon.